Hello Leo, and welcome to your reading for February. Fire signs are last this time, but not least, and this is for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. And if you don't know your rising sign or moon sign, you can go to lots of different sites, but the one I have used, and which is easy to remember, is astro.com, and you will have to know your time of birth, which is a bit difficult. But I think it's interesting, and it's fun though, because you get to watch more tarot readings. The deck is very jumpy, so it has a lot to tell you. I will not delay this, so let's begin. I'm just gonna tell you that this time I'm doing a kind of a past, present, and future spread. So the first row will be for what has been for Leo, and what has been is the Knight of Swords. So this is kind of being on a quest, and it could be about writing something. It can be writing something to a newspaper, telling a word of truth to someone close to us. You can even be like on a spiritual mission here. You're holding a book, so you have some truth here that you want to express, and we're going upwards. So this tells me that you're feeling it's a bit like an quest about ideals here, whether they are political or religious, spiritual, or something like that. So what else for Leo? What else for Leo? And we have the Five of Swords. So, and this has to do with some kind of indifference with another person. But we can see here there's a sword in the middle, and we have put down the sword, which is a good thing. And I think you and someone else has agreed to disagree, because you're both drawing a line in the sand here. This is like an intellectual combat of some sort. And we see here land and water. So someone might have more emotions in their arguments, where the other person's arguments are more practical or logical or down to earth. So you might have expressed your truth to this person or these people. It can be several people in the past. And perhaps that has created some distance between you and them. Too many cards. I just want one, please. One. And we have the Star card here. So this is another card about two people meeting. And I think that you having your different viewpoints is not a bad thing, because we don't always, even if we are kind of right, both of us, sometimes the truth can be more beautiful when we like add another layer to it, or we gain somebody else's perspective. For example, I think it's a beautiful thought that magic is science not yet explained. And when we think about history and things that you can explain things with various ways, is what I'm saying. You can for example, let's have an example. Okay, like how do we explain love? Someone might say it's something that has to do with biology. We like a certain smell, or love is when our heart starts racing when we see someone, or love is like something that we invent to reprocreate and have children. When someone else might say that it's something that our soul has longed for, and it is something kind of magical I don't. I think you get the point. It can be explained in many ways, and perhaps Jesus, I guess, can be explained in many ways. Someone says, "Oh, I'm sure there existed like a man that walked on earth because they wrote a book about Jesus, and but he can't have been God's son." But who knows, right? And I think an interesting thought is also that the times hasn't always been that they are like they are today. For example, once there were dinosaurs and there were no humans. Perhaps there once was a god, but now there isn't. I don't know. Or that we have changed, have a new god. Yeah. The only constant thing is change. So this is what has been in the past, but I think it's really beautiful because the star here is that you were kind of supposed to meet this person or these people, and even if you had your differences, from that something nice will be born. And here we have the Seven of Wands. So this is you being on your guard here in the now, kind of guarding what you have gained, and you have a lot of things to protect here. You have like a nice home, and you have people or other creatures that need you. You can see both animal and children on this picture, and for some reason you feel that you have to defend yourself, but it looks like you are ready here for whatever is to come. And for a lot of us, these are uncertain times. In my country there is like an inflation, so everything is becoming expensive. The rents are going up, the electricity is going up, the food is becoming more expensive, and the only thing that is not going up is our incomes, especially if you're not making that much. So that's a real stressful factor for a lot of people, and for me as well, actually. And I'm sure it's kind of the same in many countries. And here we have the next picture here, next card I should say. It's 10 of Chalices, and I saw this when I was shuffling the cards too. And this is kind of like a family bliss, and this is in the now. I think you are finding that how shall I say this? You are going to prioritize your family for now. Perhaps you have been on this kind of idealistic quest, and you did reach some goal. You got people to hear you, and you listen to them. But in both this card for now is about kind of both pictures of family, and I can see that you find them very valuable. And I think when you spend time with them, even if it's your siblings, your partner, or your parents or children, this is when you feel good, and this is when you feel whole, and it nurtures you, and this time with them is going to be very valuable, so don't forget them. Because What most people regrets in the end is not that they didn't make this money or that they couldn't buy this thing. It's that we did not spend enough time with those we love. So, and the next card here is like the essence of love. So I can see this is going to be a time for deepening your emotions and your intuition. And I think this is going to be a time for you to balance that as well. Sorry, sometimes I just want to feel in if I see something or I saw kind of like an ocean or a water and grass. So perhaps spending time close to a lake or the ocean will be very healing for you. You will have happy memories from that, if this is something you're able to do now. And what else? I'm gonna see what's to come later for you. And then we have the Page of Wands. So in the future, again, you're gonna feel that you have a lot on your hands, things that you have to manage again, and it comes underneath this Seven of Wands card here. So we have two Wands card, and of course you are a fire element, but and in this card you're kind of standing on guard, but I feel here you will find the need to kind of defend something, hopefully not in physical combat. But it can be some kind of it can even be something at work. You have to defend your employment or your rights in some aspects, or perhaps one of your children are being bullied and you have to do something for them. But this next card is really nice in the future here, because this is the four of Wands, and this is kind of family bliss. And I think you are a very strong person here, because here you had this fire in your hands and you wanted to make things happen. And what did you make? Well, you made harmony for you and your family here, and a fire to kind of gather around and time to be happy. So that's a really good development, and it comes underneath the Ten of Chalices. So you will continue working or like kind of prioritize time with home and family while you can, and sometimes you're gonna have to fight a bit for this, but I think life looks like that for most of us from time to time, so it's no biggie. And here we have the last card for the future is the Eight of Pentacles. So an eight is I think you're working on a dream, and you work, or like a creative project or something that you've always wanted to do, or something that you have been wanting for a long time, and you know that when you reach this goal, this is going to be it's kind of an end goal. It could be a thing like getting a job you really want. It could be saving money for a house, or I don't know, something like that, because it's a pentacle card too, so it's something that you can touch. And in some aspects, I feel that this is something that you're working on and not involving your family, even if you're kind of not doing it just for you, but for others you love. But you don't want to tell too many people about this, because when we do, people can come with like advices or "Oh, have you thought about this problem and that problem?" And I think you don't want to think about problems, but you want to keep this dream alive, and I think that's beautiful. And you want to see the possibilities. And I think by doing so, you have a very good chance of succeeding. So, I'm also going to pull an oracle card for you from The Goddess Oracle by Amy Sofia Marashinsky. So let's see what goddess who wants to come talk to Leo today. Too many. I just want one. So, this one. And it says grief. And I won't even try to pronounce this before I read the pronunciation in the book. But we can see a woman holding a moon, kind of, but it's also like a face on the moon who has him or her eyes closed. She has a head of her snake on her head, which I always think is a symbol for wisdom. And she has snakes coming from behind her too, but they look kind of friendly. She reminds me of a book I read about Egyptian culture, where they're kind of they're women who are like good with divination and stuff like that. They used snakes to see the truth. But let's see here. I think here she is. Coatlicue. That's how it's pronounced. Coatlicue, or serpent skirt, is mother of the Aztec deities. She gets a name because she wears a skirt made of swinging rattlesnakes. She is worshipped as Earth Mother and Life and Death Mother. She found some white plumed feathers one day and placing them on her breast, became pregnant. One swore to kill. When the other gods, her children, discovered her pregnancy, they swore to kill her to keep her new offspring from supplanting them. Only her beloved daughter, Koyalxaku, the moon goddess, warned the mother. I'm sure I'm pronouncing this wrong. Koyalxaku was decapitated by the sun god, and the grieving Coatlicue placed her daughter's luminous head in the sky. Oh, so this is her daughter's hand she's holding like the moon here. A meaning of this card. Coatlicue is helping you to bring you face to face with your grief. She's there to tell you that there is no way around grief. There is no place you can hide from grief. The way to wholeness lies in going through your grief. Have you been afraid to face the pain that accepting grief and going through the grief process will bring. Have you been hiding from grief, pretending that you are really okay? Perhaps you fear the grief is so great that you will remain in it for the rest of your life. Have you done some of the grieving, but not all of it, so that it catches you unaware in odd moments? Perhaps you're staying in a situation you need to leave, but fear the grief that leaving would engender. It's imperative for your healing process that you grieve. It's time to wail, then keen and moan. It's time to ask for support from your friends and family. Life is about loss, and loss is a part of life. The seasons change, and it's all in a state of transition. Even grief is, if fully faced, will finally lessen. In time you will feel stronger and more alive. One day your wounds will be faded with scars. One day your wounds will fade to scars. Remember that your process takes as long as it needs to take it, and everyone's grief long as it needs to take. And everyone's time to grieve is different. Quatlico tells you to feel the grief so that healing can come. Alright, so that was another aspect of this reading. I didn't see grief perhaps more in this Ace of Chalices here. When I looked upon this card, I saw grass and the ocean, and that is a memory of grief for me, actually. Kind of. It's a happy memory with actually my last dog, which I cannot talk about anymore because I'm becoming sad. That's all for me. Leo, take really good care, and I hope to see you again. Bye.